Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. I just got back to my apartment in Asia and I have this guy waiting for me, the Xiaomi Mix Fold 4. So I'm very excited because I think Xiaomi, starting with Mix Fold 2, has been making one of the best damn foldable phone hardware out there. Mix Fold 4 right now is the second thinnest foldable phone around, behind only the Honor Magic V3. And the difference is only 0.2 millimeters, so it almost does not matter. So we'll do an unboxing. I'm gonna set up the phone and then we'll do a day one impressions type of video. So this phone, unfortunately, I believe is launching only in the China market, unlike the Mix Fold Flip, which is rumored to be launching internationally. So let's see what else is in the rest of the packaging. We have a 67-watt charger with a USB-A port. So that means this is a USB-A to USB-C cable. So this case adds a little bit of grip without adding too much bulk. So I'm gonna boot up the phone and set up the phone and then get going. Setting up Google is very easy. Xiaomi's App Store already has the Google Play Store, so you just need to download and install that. Or you can install it from a third-party site of your choice. The Google framework is already in the phone, so once you install Google Play Store, everything else is set up. You do need to then manually install all the Google apps though. Okay, it's been about 24 hours since I've been using the phone. Here are my day one impressions. I really love the in-hand feel of the Xiaomi Mix Fold 4. Between the 6.5-inch screen with a conventional aspect ratio, like almost the exact same aspect ratio as an Android flagship phone, like the Vivo X100 Ultra, and the fact that the phone is so thin at 9.5 millimeters when folded, and it weighs only 228 grams. This guy really feels just like a conventional slap phone. In fact, yesterday, I took the Vivo X100 Ultra along with the Mix Fold 4 outside for a night, and I had one phone in each pocket. And sometimes when I reached my hand in my pocket to grab the phone, I could not tell if I'm holding the Mix Fold 4 or the Vivo X100 Ultra. I could not tell until I took out the phone and I had like visual confirmation. It helps that Xiaomi gave Fold 4 subtle curvature, not just at the edge of the screen, but all four corners of the phone. So the top two corners, you see it's curved a little bit, and the bottom two corners too. The bottom left corner being curved really improves the in-hand feel so much because this is that hinge corner and I hold my phone with the left hand. I would say the Xiaomi Mix Fold 4 and the Honor Magic V3 are tied for the most comfortable in-hand feel of any foldable phone right now. In fact, after using the Mix Fold 4 for a night, I went back to the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro this morning and I thought, oh, suddenly the X Fold 3 Pro feels heavy and thicker, because there is a difference of about 20 grams in terms of weight and about 2 millimeters in terms of thickness. Now the Mix Fold 4, when unfolded, measures only 4.5 millimeter. This is second thinnest right now behind the Honor Magic V3's 4.3 millimeter. But again, you really cannot tell the difference in real life. These are differences you only see in a spec sheet. When you hold both these phones, they feel almost exactly the same in terms of thickness and weight. I will say that the Mix Fold 4's hinge, it's a little bit easier to open compared to any other foldable that I've tested this year. And I'm not sure that's a good thing, because I think a hinge, I don't know, it feels more reassuring when it's a little bit stiffer and takes a little bit more force to open. With the Mix Fold 4, it definitely opens quite a bit easier than the Honor Magic V3 or the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro, and definitely the Z Fold 6. Samsung's hinge, it's like super stiff and reassuring in a good way. It almost feels like you need to put a little bit of effort just to open it up. This guy, I feel like if I just put my thumb down the middle, I can already open up the phone with one hand like this. Despite that, the hinge can stay in place at any angle, and it has a very fluid opening, kind of like the Google Pixel Fold. One thing I cannot deny though is that the Mix Fold 4's crease seems a little bit deeper than the crease in the Honor Magic V3 and the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro. Now don't get me wrong, this crease is still better than Samsung Fold 6's crease, but for a Chinese foldable phone, Xiaomi's crease, it's a little bit more noticeable at off angles. Now when you look at the screen straight on, you still won't see the crease at all, and it still looks like a beautiful, gorgeous screen with resolution north of 2K. Otherwise, everything about this foldable hardware is top-notch. You have stereo speakers that sound loud and full. You have IPX8 water and dust resistance, 5100 mAh battery, which is relatively large, but a little bit smaller than on a Magic V3, like by 300 mAh, but significantly smaller than the Vivo foldable, which is 5700. So the Vivo foldable is still going to be the king of battery life. But yesterday, I used this phone heavily all night. I left the apartment at 5 p.m. and I didn't come back until midnight. And in that 8 hours, the battery only drained about like 38%. Charging, 67 watt, a little bit slow compared to flagship phones, but it's more than fine. Like yesterday, the phone was dead out of the box, but I just plugged it into the charger, waited 20 minutes, and then by then it was already up to like 60% battery life. And of course, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 inside with 12 or 16 gigs of RAM depending on your configuration, so definitely no issue with performance. So let's go back to how Xiaomi was able to get this foldable phone so thin and light compared to even last year, because remember, Mix Fold 3 last year was already very thin and light, and this guy is still 20 grams lighter. So Xiaomi basically switched to a lot of its components to carbon fiber, including the back plate that protects the screen underneath, and then also the hinge material. Most of it is now using carbon fiber, and it looks like this camera module right here is also crafted out of carbon fiber. So carbon fiber is lighter than aluminum or stainless steel, obviously, and that allows Xiaomi to shed weight all around. Now, despite the lighter weight, Xiaomi is promising that this Mix Fold 4 is more durable than ever. The hinge has apparently been tested for 500,000 folds, that's 500,000. And Xiaomi says that the carbon fiber materials is actually stronger than aluminum. So this phone is lighter and more durable, at least according to Xiaomi marketing. I'm not gonna put it to the test. I'm not the guy to see if I can break the phone or drop it. You have to go to another channel for that. But I have tested enough foldable phones, especially Chinese foldable phones over the years, that I can vouch for the craftsmanship and the durability, because I think a lot of people, they still think of foldable phones as fragile. But to be honest, the only foldable phone to ever kind of fail publicly is the first Fold from Samsung. Otherwise, I've never heard of any stories or read any stories of like a Honor or Huawei or Xiaomi foldable just kind of breaking left and right. Next up, let's look at the camera. So what set Xiaomi's foldable phones apart from other foldables is that it is the only foldable on the market to give you 4 cameras instead of 3. So you have an ultra wide, a main camera, and 2 zoom lenses. The 2 zoom configurations have changed a little bit. The 5x periscope zoom lenses, I think it's exactly the same as last year. So it's a 10 megapixel sensor, f2.9 aperture, 5x optical zoom, about 115 millimeter focal length. But the second zoom lens now is just a 2x telephoto lens compared to last year, which had a 3.2x lens. But the 2x lens here has a much faster aperture at f2, and also it's 50 megapixels, so it's more pixel dense. So I think what Xiaomi is doing here is that it is using that 2x optical lens and then also doing in-sensor crop to then give you a 4x zoom. That's kind of lossless. And in the camera UI, that is exactly what you see. You see that you have 0.6, which is ultra wide, 1x, which is the main camera, and then you have 2, 4, 5. So 2 is the optical zoom lens, 4 is the in-sensor crop, and 5 is the 5x periscope zoom lens. And I think so far this 2x zoom lens is quite good, and even the 4x footage is looking pretty good, particularly in video. When you shoot with a 2 or 4x zoom lens, it's much more stable than the 5x periscope zoom lens. The 5x periscope zoom lens has OIS technically, but footage is quite jerky and stable as I'm walking. Ultra wide. Back out to main camera. 5x. As for photo quality, the main camera is very good. It is a new sensor, Light Hunter 800, 1/1.49 inch image sensor. So this is a larger image sensor than what's in the Honor Magic V3 by a little bit. This is a 1/1.57 sensor, but it is still smaller than the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro, which has a 1/1.3 inch. But the Xiaomi Mix Fold 4's main camera is really good. You see very shallow depth of field, colors, dynamic range, everything is on point, and videos are very stable when you're shooting with the main camera. The 12 megapixel ultra wide camera has been improved too. It's an f2.2 aperture, and you see that distortion is kept to a minimum. Details are relatively okay. The 2 zoom lenses though, if you look at it from a foldable perspective, it's perfectly fine. Some of the 5x zoom photos, the details are sharp, but it looks a little bit flat. The good news is Xiaomi has a new AI bokeh features that analyze the photo and then will apply artificial bokeh at various styles, and they actually look pretty good. Some of these artificial bokeh actually looks pretty convincing, and I think I will put that to the use. As for how does this camera compare against the Honor Magic V3, Side by side, photos look very close, at least on the phone. But when I bring it over to my large screen monitor to Pixel Peep, I can see that Xiaomi's images are generally a little bit better. Now, surprisingly, Honor's zoom lens has a little bit more bokeh, but then anytime you zoom into actual size to Pixel Peep, Honor's image is very noisy, a lot of digital sharpening. Xiaomi's images just look a little bit more organic. As for how the camera system compares to the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro, I would say it's very close so far. It's still very early days. Needs more testing. It's very close. But one complaint I have with the Mix Fold 4 is once again, the portrait mode is just a little bit wonky. So when you jump into portrait mode, by default, you can only go up to 75mm for the longest focal length. If you tap on the little icon to jump into the Leica portrait system, they can go up to 90mm. But there's a 5x zoom lens here that can shoot at 115mm. So that means when you're using portrait mode with this phone, you can't use the periscope zoom lens at all. You can only max out at 90mm. And then you have to remember, the other zoom lens, the optical zoom range is only 2x or about 47mm. So that means anything beyond 47mm is just a digital crop. So you're shooting portraits at 75mm or 90mm using completely digital crop. I don't know why Xiaomi's portrait mode prevents you from using the periscope zoom lens, because this issue is also in the Xiaomi 14 Ultra. Now, speaking of AI features, other than AI bokeh, there's also this AI image, which basically you have to take a picture with a human face in it, and then the phone will let you generate 4 different AI generated images, and I'm sorry, they all look really, really weird. I mean, look at it. Like, you can kind of see they have taken my facial features and put it into this girl and this little boy. And I don't know why it's limited to just little boys and girls. Like, there is not a photo for like a dude. And it's not just me. I used a picture of Jason Tatum, and it also looks a little bit weird. So I don't know what this mode is for. Other than this and the AI sky feature, which is actually pretty fun to play with, the Xiaomi Mix Fold 4 is a little bit lacking in AI features when it comes to photos. With the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, Lord knows I don't like that hardware. It is so freaking thick and heavy, and the camera system is mediocre. But that phone has so many fun AI features. I really love sketch to image. I love circle to search. I love the generative AI photo editing. A Honor Magic V3 or like a OnePlus Open now, you have AI features like the ability to quickly lift a subject from a background with just a long press. You don't get any of those features here with the Xiaomi Mix Fold 4, at least that I know of. So it seems like in terms of AI features, Xiaomi's a little bit falling behind the competition right now. But in terms of hardware though, they have completely nailed it. This is tied with the Honor Magic V3 for the best looking and best in-hand feel for a foldable phone. And I think that's important because remember, foldable phones used to be very bulky. I mean, hell, the Fold 6 from Samsung is still freaking bulky. But this guy looks and feels just like a normal phone when it's folded, and I love that. So this is my day one impressions, not a full review. Will have a full review coming like about a week. I need to test the cameras a little bit more. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. It will help me a lot. Thanks for watching.